Okay, so we're talking about movie villains, aren't we? Is that correct?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whatever you want.
All right, Glenn. In the world today, we see a lot of villains. No, answer that. All right, movie villains, Glenn. I feel like this is a topic we haven't really touched upon yet.
No.
We've covered lists, sequels. Let's discuss characters, villains.
All right.
And the cinema features an incredible rogues gallery of characters. What do you think are the best? Give me two of the best villains off the top of your head.
Hell 9000.
Okay.
Nurse Ratched.
Nurse Ratched, bang. I agree. I was gonna break, not in my top two, but she's definitely one of the biggest villains.
Nurse Ratched from One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. Louise Fletcher.
Oh gosh.
You know what? This is interesting because I was introduced to Cuckoo's Nest when I was very young.
Same.
And I think watching it when I was young, it was much more comedic to me. Right? It was funny to watch these characters be silly.
Yeah.
And I never really saw her as a villain.
No, same. I was actually going to say the same thing. You're not aware because it's just a very subtle portrayal.
So many people, I remember telling me she's the greatest villain of all time, and I'd watch this film even up to my early teens.
Yeah.
And I think to myself, I think she's very compassionate.
Yeah, it's just a bit unfair for old Nurse Ratched.
She's quite sympathetic, and look at what they're doing behind her back. But then, as you mature and you understand the world, she's diabolical.
Yeah, she's a piece of work. I used to think the same. I never got the concept of her being the villain. And, But I think that's the thing, isn't it? When you're young, like those boys, naive, mental capacity of children, they don't understand the manipulation of this woman. She's brilliant in that film. Great film.
Yep. And Hell 9000, the computer that goes rogue. Becomes a real villain, sabotages and tries to kill these men.
I think that's a brilliant call. I think that is definitely one of the best villains of all time. It does have a face, but it's amazing the voice. I don't know the name of the actor, I forget, but his work in that.
Douglas Rain.
There you go, Big Douglas. We salute you, my friend. His work in that is staggering, and the visual of the eye is just brilliant. The scene where he lip reads is just brilliant, and
because you feel like the eye is watching,
and when he kills not Dave, the other one, Frank, when he kills him, that's chilling. Yeah,
particularly when the sound drops.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, what a masterful moment of cinema.
It really is. It really is. No, they're good ones.
They're great. They're great calls.
It's funny. The word villain to me isn't the same as bad guy.
No,
I know it kind of is, but it conjures something different in my mind.
Yeah, so we're not talking about anti-hero. We're talking about villain.
Because you could say Travis Bickle, is he or isn't he? Is he a villain?
Yeah,
because he does bad things, but his rationale.
Yeah, or Michael Corleone. Yeah. People list him, but I'd say he's not the villain of the piece.
So the kind of villains in my mind, what came to my mind is Beverly Hills Cop Victor Maitland, played by Stephen Burkoff.
Oh yeah, Burkoff.
Yeah,
he's sensational, Burkoff.
Great. And he's really chilling in that.
Yeah,
for a funny film, he's a scary villain.
He's a very theatrical actor, Burkoff. Yeah. He's brilliant.
He works a lot with there's a Melbourne director called Frank Howson.
Yep.
Who was a big player in the 80s.
Yes.
And Stephen Burkoff wrote a screenplay insisting that Frank direct it.
Wow, that's cool.
So
that's
there's
really
his
cool.
Melbourne connection.
Yeah, Melbourne.
Most people would say who's Stephen Burkoff, but
yeah, get an education.
Yeah. Who else comes to your mind?
Well, I mean, I think Hannibal Lecter is the best film villain. I mean, at least of the last 30 years. Particularly in The Silence of the Lambs.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, there's two amazing, serial killer characters in that film. Ted Levine is staggering in that film.
Yeah, but he's not the villain of the film.
No,
is he? He kind of is.
I think it's a double threat.
Yeah,
I would say a villainous character. He's the go-to for me, mainly because obviously it's just an amazing performance. The impact he has I think he's in it for 16 minutes.
Yeah,
is amazing. I mean, here's the thing: Norman Bates, I think, in the original Psycho, particularly, would be right up there for me. I think that's one of the most sympathetic villains in cinema.
Definitely.
And I think it's an amazing performance. Now, it's not as showy as Lecter Hopkins, but he is so brilliant in that film. I love it how he just goes from nervous twitch to this lightning smile just in an instant. He's so good in that.
He's wholesome.
He is. He's very wholesome. You love him. And then he removes the picture off the wall of the sly dog.
And incidentally, his character is based on Ed Gein as his Buffalo Bills. From
Yes,
Silence of the
yeah.
Lambs.
So there's that link there. So
Yeah, which, as is the Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
yeah. I mean, I don't want to doff my hat to Ed, but you know. You know what I mean? So
Hardly a serial killer. He only like killed like 2 women.
Yeah, yeah.
He's a grave robber.
He's a grave robber.
Enough time's passed that we can.
We all get our kicks one or another, I guess. This is a terrible one.
Herbert West comes to my mind from Reanimator.
Yes.
And the reason being because he's the genius medical student at the time who's trying to do good in the world, but he becomes so obsessed with his, his plans and his inventions. He invents a serum that brings the dead back to life.
Yeah.
But he's trying to do it for the better of mankind.
Yeah.
But he becomes a lunatic in the process. And he's one
Yeah.
of the great horror villains of all time because you're sympathetic right until the end. No matter how diabolical he gets and how mad, he's just a brilliant character.
And he just goes too far. What do you think of the Joker? Popular character. Everyone seems to talk about the Joker, particularly Ledger. What do you think's the best?
Jack Nicholson.
Nicholson. So you're a Nicholson
by
man.
By far.
Okay. Yeah, I could get around that. I would say Ledger for me, but Nicholson's superb.
Yeah.
They're both great. I probably prefer the Dark Knight.
They both occupy different universes.
Yeah, they can exist separately. I mean, Joaquin Phoenix. I don't think it's the same. I wouldn't classify him as a villain of that film.
It's a good performance, but it's not to the heights of those other two.
No, I agree. Yeah, it's not.
And we won't even worry about Jared Leto.
Oh yeah. Sorry, who?
Jeez.
Yeah, he was.
Well, what about in that universe? What about the Penguin from Batman Returns?
Danny DeVito. Yeah, I enjoyed that. It's a good film. Michelle Pfeiffer, man. She was a great villain. Kind of.
Yeah, well, she's a lot sexier than Ruby Rose, maybe.
Indeed, yeah. Michelle, you need to do more.
I'm trying to think. She has. The last thing I remember her is in The Family with Robert De Niro.
Oh, yes.
So she's done more than that.
Yeah.
She's married to the guy I was talking about on the podcast that did Mystery Alaska and
wow,
Lake Placid.
And who did the Ally McBeal
David
show?
Kelly.
You got it.
So if you were listening to our podcast and I couldn't come up with those names, there you go.
They're brilliant.
This is an encore.
Yeah, indeed. You know what? Max Cady, Robert De Niro, Cape Fear.
Easy.
Sensational.
Either Max Cady, though.
Yeah, and Mitchum.
Yep.
And Robert Mitchum in The Night of the Hunter.
Yes.
He is brilliant. That's one of the best.
Knuckles.
Yeah, he's cooked. That's one of the best film villains. What about The Hustler, George C. Scott? Would you consider him a villain of that film?
I think that Newman is the villain.
Yeah,
in that
okay,
film.
there you go.
You know?
Wow. Because he gets her killed.
Well, because he's a scamster from the beginning.
Yeah,
like, he's not legit.
Yeah, okay.
We sympathise with him. We're on his side, but everyone's a villain in that film.
Yeah, okay.
And I think because the focus is on him, I feel like he's just a villain from start to finish.
Yeah, okay, interesting take.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
I love that film.
That's a brilliant film.
Yeah.
George C. Scott.
You can bust that out any time and I will enjoy it.
It's brilliant. It's downbeat, man, I tell you.
Jackie Gleason in that?
Jackie Gleason's sensational.
The fats.
That whole opening, 30 minutes where they duel, he challenges Jackie Gleason to the pool comp. He's been working his whole life to this moment. It's amazing. And then Jackie just, powders the nose and finishes him off. Lee Van Cleef, Good, the Bad, the Ugly.
Yep.
I think that's a solid villain.
Okay, well, if we're going westerns, this is a bit more contemporary. What about Gene Hackman in... Which one are you thinking?
I'm thinking Unforgiven.
Of course you are. I'm thinking Quick and the Dead.
Quick and the Dead. You were going to go there.
Yeah.
I think Unforgiven, he is chilling in that
He's
film.
almost the same character, isn't he?
He's pretty much. It's like they obviously just, we'll get him. Because it was 3 years later, the Quick and the Dead, wasn't it? Yeah, that's a sensational performance. One of his best. One of my favourite actors of all time, Gene Hackman.
He's amazing.
Lex Luthor. What a villain.
Yep.
I rate that highly.
I do too.
Yeah.
But with the Quick and the Dead, I can then tie that maybe to Romper Stomper with Russell Crowe.
Yeah.
That's a villain right there. One of the greats. Like, no sympathy for that one, but what a powerful performance.
Yeah, it is a powerful performance.
Good old Russell Crowe on the map.
Yeah. Alex Delange, or is that an anti-hero? Clockwork.
That's we've talked about that.
We
can't quite decide.
Yeah, I don't know.
I the ambiguity there is just too.
Yeah,
he's a villain.
He's a villain. He's not a nice chap.
Once again, everyone's a villain in that
Yeah,
film.
that's right. Yeah, they're terrific characters.
Annie Wilkes.
Yes. Yeah.
Good villain.
Yes. Yeah. Of course. Yeah. Oh, sorry, I had someone that's just gone.
What about anyone from the Rocky universe?
Oh yeah.
Is Apollo Creed a villain?
Dolph Lundgren. Oh, he's in the first one.
Yeah.
And then his character evolves. Character development in the Rocky films. Underrated character development. Kathy Bates.
Off of Annie
Annie
Wilkes.
Wilkes. Yeah. That's what I was gonna. I wanted to talk about her, but I've forgotten now.
Oh, she's amazing in that film. Like, it really is a star.
It's a great
turning film.
Yeah, it is.
One of Stephen King's the better adaptations of Stephen King.
It is.
Rob Reiner really understood Stephen King. I think Rob Reiner and Darabont are the only two that have really gotten King to a T.
Apart from my boy Stanley. I'm kidding.
No, he didn't.
He didn't get him at all. He threw him out. Yeah. No, that's a good call, man. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm having a mental blank.
The Fratellis in Goonies?
Oh, yeah.
They're good villains.
Yeah, they are good villains.
They're fun villains.
They are fun. Indiana Jones got some great villains.
Was Burkoff in one of those?
Burkoff's in Bond. He's a Bond villain, so he's in Octopussy.
I feel like he's a James Bond villain.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, he's one of the two main villains of Octopussy. He plays like.
Oh, sorry. I mean, Indiana Jones.
Not in the TV show.
He's a Nazi.
In Indiana Jones.
I'm sure of it. Fact checkers. I'll put it on the screen.
Who's the guy that plays the villain in Raiders? I forget his name. He's a great actor. He's great in that film. He's the best villain. Indiana Jones villain.
No, I can't pull that name out of my head.
But he's great. Belloc.
This is gonna kill me.
Yeah, I know. Well, look at us just failing in our job here. Recent villains. Oh, it's a tough one, man. Oh, of course. How could I forget? Oh, one of the greatest villains of all time. Anton Chigurh, No Country for Old Men.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Oh, that's one of the best. Oh, 3 in a row. Then you've got Hans Lander, Inglourious Bastards. That is one of the best film villains. Christoph Waltz, man. Staggering in that.
What about
DiCaprio wanted to play
any
that.
character from Hateful Eight?
Oh, that's,
Too easy?
All mongrel dogs, aren't they?
Yeah.
Oh,
shame about the movie.
It's a shame about the film. Didn't like it. Sorry, Quentin. No, Hans Lander, that's one of the best movie villains I can think of. That performance was brilliant. Leo wanted to play it, man. Leo, you wouldn't have held a candle to Christoph. But I think Javier Bardem in No Country for Old Men, iconic. With the whole, that crazy song. He's insane.
Yeah.
He's brilliant in that.
Yep.
I love it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, I'm surprised you didn't say the Butcher from Gangs of New York.
Oh, need I say anything about it? Oh, it's a given.
You need not say anything.
I tell you what, that is a great film villain. Daniel Day-Lewis, man, he brings the goods. He just brings it every time. What about
We're gonna have to subtitle this show the Daniel Day-Lewis show.
Appreciation show. Give me your thoughts on Darth Vader.
Overrated? I think so. Simply, I think Star Wars in general is overrated.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, lay off. Like,
No, it is.
Everyone's going to take issue with me.
But it's a fact, people.
No, but look, he's a great villain, right? I
Yes.
think early conception, Star Wars, New Hope, before it was New Hope, phenomenal villain.
Yep.
Iconic in his look, iconic in his voice. He was just perfectly tailored.
Yes.
But I think his character evolution and what became with the prequels, how he became, and Anakin, I just don't like it.
Yeah, it's almost like they killed the mythology a bit.
Yeah, well, just dumbed it down.
I think even Return of the Jedi, I think having his redemption story then actually compromises his villainy.
Yeah.
I think they should have left that. I actually think the Emperor is a brilliant villain in Return of the Jedi.
Yeah. No, just the ambiguity of the original Darth Vader was far more compelling.
Yeah.
With his whole Death Star and you didn't need to know that backstory.
Yeah, I agree. If he had ended it at Empire, he would be right at the top.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
But look, I can concede a great movie villain.
Yeah.
Because he's iconic.
Yeah.
He sells show bags.
He does. He sells. Yeah, he's done very well. Alan Rickman, Die Hard. That's a great.
Absolutely.
There's plenty.
Even Jeremy Irons as his brother.
Jeremy Irons.
Number 3.
Yeah. Reversal of Fortune. Jeremy. Yeah, that's his great. It's a slight deviation, but
see, he's someone that I miss.
Who's an actor who doesn't play villains that could play a great villain?
Tom Cruise has never played. Oh, he does Collateral. He played a villain, but he hasn't really played many villains.
Yeah, he was great in Collateral. I thought he was brilliant. I'd love to see Tom Hanks play an out-and-out villain. Has he ever done it?
Yes, he has. Cloud Atlas.
Oh, yep.
In fact, he took a reporter to task recently
for not having played one.
No, she out and out just looked him in the eye and said, "You've never played a villain." And he just looked her back and really addressed her. He says, "Well, you've not done your homework."
Wow.
And he said to her, "Who comes into an interview having not done homework when it's Tom Hanks?"
Oh, is that what he said? What a legend.
And he goes, "Have you seen Cloud Atlas?" And she goes, "No, I haven't." He
Yeah.
says, "Well, maybe you want to watch that and we'll have this interview."
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm gonna Google that as soon as we finish. That's brutal.
But I think that's the only one, and he's not like a central character to that film whatsoever.
He doesn't like playing villains.
No. I think most people like playing villains. I don't think they like the, I guess the reputation that comes with it.
Yeah.
You know, they don't want to be seen in a negative light because
Yeah.
there are dickheads in the world that believe actors are their characters.
Yeah.
So you don't want someone coming up on the street
Yeah.
and saying, "Oh, to Alan Rickman, like I thought you died on the Nakatomi Tower."
I'm sure Anthony's copped it.
Yeah.
I think Gordon Gekko is
Yeah.
a sensational movie villain. I love Michael Douglas. He's one of my favorites.
He's one of the greats from the 80s.
He is. That is a brilliant performance. I love that. Iconic.
Yeah.
I love the film actually too.
Sean Penn from Casualties of War.
Sean. Yes. Yep. That's a good call.
Not a classic villain, but just evil.
Yeah. Sean. Yeah. We have a complex relationship with Sean.
We do.